You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. Smitty is live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Get one-on-one text advice with Smitty at heysmitty.com.
You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón.
Get one-on-one text advice with Smitty at heysmitty.com.
You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. Smitty is live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al...
Live from SmittyOne.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Take a lap.
Dalvin Cook and Rashad White and Dalvin Cook. Which one is a bust? Which one is a riser? I bet you can guess which one I think is the one to avoid. And that is the man named Dalvin Cook, the man that missed multiple games last year, the man that was very inconsistent last year, the man that has the torn labrum in probably multiple places and has had a workload that has been adding up a little too much for my liking anywhere in round one. Now, we've seen him go in round two, and I think that he's acceptable risk anywhere near the turn picks. I can get behind that in one or two leagues. I can get behind Dalvin Cook in one league, but not multiple leagues, because I think, like every season, it looks like he's out for the year multiple times. He crawls off the field, gets carried off the field, put in a casket, and the nails are being driven in, and the man runs back out onto the field. Happens every year, multiple times, and I don't want anybody getting burned or holding the bag once the ball drops. And I think that at this stage in his career, you are playing with fire walking into each and every season, because his drop-off season is either this season or next season. I could be a year early. But if you take just his shoulder concerns, he's worth avoiding. If you take his other injury risk concerns, he's worth avoiding. His inconsistency last year, the offense, we don't know how he's going to necessarily get all of his volume. There's been talk about not worrying about the run game. Oh, we're going to use him more as wide receiver. We've seen mixed messages in the news world about how he could be used differently in 2022. And being used differently, like changing the game, isn't necessarily the greatest idea for a running back that's struggling to stay healthy and be consistent. You can say until you're blue in the face, he's fire when he's healthy, Joel. Just like someone can say that about Derrick Henry. Like Derrick Henry's fire when he's on the field and healthy. It's true. Cook is fire when on the field and healthy. True. But the prediction here is he's not going to be healthy. He's not going to stay healthy. And I could be a year early. I could be, Joel. And for that, I apologize if you end up taking this and not drafting him, he explodes. But guess what? I'd rather be a year early than a year late. I'd rather, and I know you can cuff him to Madison, but you can't really if you're in a league with me or in a league with any of you, because we're going to snipe Madison from your kung fu grip before you even have a chance to even cue him under your queue list. I would rather, instead of drafting Dalvin Cook, here's my argument against people that say, Smitty, why not just cuff him? Why not just draft Dalvin Cook? I would rather draft Jamar Chase, or if it's redraft, Cooper Kupp or Justin Jefferson, and snipe Madison from you. You know, why not go that approach? Get the best of both worlds. I could get Javonte or Breece Hall in round 2. I can get running backs that I feel have just as much capability as Dalvin Cook in round 2. Javonte and Breece Hall in round 2 have as much upside to me as Dalvin Cook, especially if you consider all of the injury risk, all the concerns, the red flags galore. They're all over. I tell you guys this every year, every day, every minute, every single millisecond. If there are multiple red flags, you worry about the player. If there's one red flag, you don't. Swift had multiple red flags last year. He has one red flag this year. That's what makes me like Swift in 2022 when I didn't like him in 2021. There are a lot of reasons to be concerned about a player. Coaching, usage, offense, like Barkley's offense. I worry about Barkley's offense. I worry about Barkley's offensive line. I worry about Danny Dimes running the football. Barkley has more red flags than I can count, and yet people just want to gravitate toward the familiar or the comfortable or the more known instead of predicting what's around the corner. And what people know is that Barkley's a talent. He's elite. He's had a year to recover. He's got to be good, right? Mike Thomas is a talent. He's so good. We've seen him do so much. Rather than be just in this uncomfortable state of not knowing what's going on, he's Mike Thomas. I'm going to believe in him. Don't believe in Mike Thomas. Don't believe in Mike Thomas until he proves it to you. Don't believe in Barkley until he proves it to you. Now, Dalvin Cook's different. Dalvin Cook has been proving it. But there are multiple red flags to worry about that's putting him in this bucket of concern. And they come down to off the field issues. Apparently there's some kind of situation still brewing. I believe there's some kind of hearing on it on the 24th of March, if I remember correctly, where Dalvin Cook was, I don't know if I have that. I might have that here. This graphic here, is this it? Dalvin Cook. First of all, let's get to the news.
And now for the news.
This little number I think is older, but this talks about it. Minneapolis Tribune reports that the lawsuit against Dalvin Cook will be heard on March 24th. We haven't heard any real updates on this, so I'm not really sure what to make of the whole Dalvin Cook offseason domestic violence situation that started to brew that put his 2021 rest of season in jeopardy once that news broke. We don't know. We don't know what, like, you can't say nothing's going to happen. You can't say something's going to happen, but you cannot say nothing's going to happen. So Dalvin Cook's got huge red flag concerns as it relates to off the field issues. He has huge injury concerns, multiple injury concerns with his shoulder alone. His shoulder alone should cause you panic beyond panic because he has multiple labrum tears. And like we always say, let me see if I can get a piece of paper out here and show the Exhibit A. Grab yourself a labrum that's nearby. Exhibit B, grab yourself a judge mallet. What do you call these? Whatever. Poke a hole in said paper and jam it through. This is your socket. This is your ball. Okay? Your labrum acts like this piece of paper, if you will. Technically speaking, your socket is like this. Your ball is like this. It goes in, it slides out. It goes in, it slides out. Your labrum is a seal that makes that a thicker hole so that it almost wraps around. If the seal's removed, think of like a thick seal all the way around. If you take that seal out, then the ball is a perfect fit. It slides in and out. You need the seal to keep ball in said socket. If we use this example of a labrum, this is how your labrum keeps your ball and socket into place. When you tear your labrum and the ball slides, that's painful to watch. That ball slides out of the socket. What is left? A damaged labrum because the labrum did not allow for the ball to get out. So you pop it back in, right? Okay. Now, what do you have? Okay. Well, if your shoulder is right here, the ball's not sliding out. If you rotate a certain way, the ball slides out. That damage point is an exit point for the ball and socket to come out. This man, Dalvin Cook, has had so many dislocated ball and socket shoulder injuries. We don't know what damage this man has in his shoulder. Okay? His labrum, this is a photo of his labrum right here, his exact labrum. We don't know what is going on with this kid's shoulder. And they may have repaired this, they may have repaired that. We don't have all of the definition, all the details and data and everything regarding his shoulder, his surgeries, his recovery time. We don't know anything. Like, we could pretend we know. We just know he suffered multiple shoulder injuries over and over and over, and your labrum, it takes a toll. You can't just repair all that. Dalvin Cook has had his shoulder pop out so many times. That tells you that this damage exists, whether it's a tear here, whether it's a tear here, whether it's a tear here, whether it's a tear at all 3, 4, 5 different locations in the labrum. He gets hit in the shoulder, pops out. That's one red flag. I'm not trying to tell anybody to avoid a player based on just one red flag. And we don't know, I'm admitting, we don't know how many tears he has. Could just be one that he keeps re-injuring, but that's still a risk because it keeps popping out. But my point is, you don't need to worry about just the shoulder because we have the shoulder. We have all the other injuries he tends to suffer. You have knee issues every year where the dude gets carried off the field, crawls off the field, and then he runs back on 2 or 3 plays later. And we're like, I thought my season was over. If you own Dalvin Cook, you know what I'm talking about. So stay clear of Dalvin Cook unless it's in one league, unless he drops that like 12-13 turn and you want to grab him as your almost second drafted player or especially your second drafted player. That is it. That is it. Other than that, I'm scooping up Madison anyway because you're not going to grab, if you draft Dalvin Cook, you're not drafting Madison in a league that I'm in. I'm here to tell you, I'm sorry. I apologize. I hope we're still friends after, but I'm sniping Madison from you a whole round before you even think about it. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to have a look of disgust on your face. You're going to get mad at me and you're going to ask me, why would I draft him? Why would I draft him? Why would you do that to me, Smitty? You know, you get that message from your buddy. Why'd you do that? You had to go ahead and draft that's the whole point. Like, you drafted a player that you needed Madison for, and you didn't take him early enough, Bob. I'm here to rectify that. I'm here to show you what you need to do next time, Bob. I'm scooping up Madison every chance I get, and I'm pairing him with my first rounder. Instead of Dalvin Cook, I'm taking Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and if it's redraft, Cooper Kupp, or even Javonte Williams. Tell me you don't like Madison and Javonte better than just Dalvin Cook. Tell me. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. Dalvin Cook, a big avoid for me in 2022. And here's another piece of news on Dalvin Cook. The Athletic noted that Dalvin Cook has lined up a bunch at wide receiver, or that he will play more wide receiver. There's a lot of conjecture and predicting on this. That's fine. I mean, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm not saying Dalvin Cook running more passes isn't going to be a good situation for fantasy owners, but I mean, it doesn't. This is the Athletic. They report a lot of this stuff, and just because somebody, a beat writer, reports he's been lining up all over at wide receiver or he's going to catch more passes doesn't make it so. It's nice to hear that he could get more PPR work, but volume's volume, and I think that you bank on Dalvin Cook. You're banking on, I think, a very big injury risk in multiple areas of injury, not just shoulder. You talk about knee, ankle, everything. This kid is a very injury-prone player. The more hits he takes, the more injury susceptible he is. The more hits he takes, the more that shoulder is just going to break down. That shoulder won't get better. It will only get worse. Could he somehow avoid any kind of shoulder injury from now until when he retires? It's certainly possible. But don't think for a second you're not running a huge risk by owning this guy in multiple leagues. Hod Prime says, agree, Barkley should recover from ACL. I'm staying clear of Barkley. Barkley has to prove it to me he's even worth a second rounder. I won't touch Barkley in round 2, obviously round 1. I probably won't touch Barkley in round 3. The only way I would own Barkley is if he fell to round 4, and I'd take him to probably try and trade him and flip him for more. I'm not touching Barkley in round 3. He's got upside. You know, he's always had talent, but he's in a situation where I don't think they're going to improve things too much heading into 2022. Offensive line, vulturing touchdown quarterback, injury he never really recovered from fully. And if you think he's going to just do well, like, show me the evidence that makes you feel that way other than your gut. And the gut's fine. I have a lot of gut instinct type stuff too. So I'm not opposed to anybody having a gut instinct that Barkley's going to bounce back. You do you. Don't let me talk you out of anything. Trust your gut. Let people like me help you when you're on the fence about a player. Help you nudge you over to one side or the other. Don't let anybody take you away from your bold prediction and your gut instinct. But Barkley's done nothing to show you he will return to his old form. In fact, he's done nothing but prove to you multiple years in a row, not just one injury year, multiple years in a row, that he is so far away from replicating what he once was. Like, he has all the proving to do. To take Barkley in a situation where you're taking a risk is a huge mistake. Take Barkley only in a place where he's got the proving to do. If he doesn't prove it, he still probably earns your value back. That's it. That's it. Bottom line. Bottom line. So let's go with Barkley avoid, Cook avoid. I'd say the biggest avoids to me, Derrick Henry, and I talk about Henry enough that we don't need to do that right now, but definitely feel like Henry is probably the biggest avoid of them all. Barkley's a big avoid. Henry's the biggest avoid because he has the most draft capital. We can talk about Henry another day. We talk about him way too much. Now let's get on to our boy Rashad White. Rashad White is an absolute monster. Rashad White, coming out of Arizona State University in his 2021 season, had 11 played games, 182 attempts, 1,000 yards on the ground, 5.5 yards a pop, 15 rushing touchdowns, 43 receptions for 456 yards and 1 TD. This guy is the best pass-catching running back in the entire 2022 2022 NFL draft class. This kid can be a between-the-tackle runner. Don't let anybody tell you he can't. Would he be a better 900 guy than a 1,503 or 400 receiving guy? Absolutely. He is Alvin Kamara 2.0. He's taller. I wouldn't want to say stronger, but he's bigger. He's bigger, taller. There could be an argument made that he could become stronger. He just got into the NFL. Let's let him lift weights, get stronger and all that. But this kid has the makings of being a taller version. Kamara's an every down back, but people always debate that he's a change of pace back that just is super successful in the PPR game and that he's not a workhorse. Everyone always makes that argument against Alvin Kamara. I disagree. I think workhorse can equal receiving and rushing volume. Workhorse to me is volume, a volume monster. Alvin Kamara is a workhorse. I don't care. You can define workhorse however you want. This is my show. Workhorse to me is volume monster. Workhorse doesn't you don't hear someone saying up the gut workhorse or carry workhorse or rushing attempts or whatever. It's workhorse. How do you define workhorse? To me, it's somebody that's being worked a ton, overworked. He is the dude. He's the guy getting all the volume. Alvin Kamara's a workhorse. But that argument everybody makes, Rashad White's got the skill set, the build to not be labeled that way, but have the same kind of production. So you're going to see a lot of people get on the Rashad White train, but we are actually the ones conducting this train. We've been doing it all off season long. We're not going to stop. This kid's going to be quite possibly the second or third or the first. He could flirt with being the first best rookie running back producer from the 2022 class. You guys know how much I love Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker. I don't really love a lot of running backs other than the big three being Rashad White, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker. Those are my big three running backs. Rashad White has been number 3 the entire offseason. When I did my first January evaluation rankings and analysis and video production stuff that I did on it, it was Rashad White, running back 3. Nothing has changed. He's the one guy that has the ability to be the best running back of the entire class, the dark horse of the 3 top big dogs. And Leonard Fournette, he's still got a little left in the tank, but Lenny has been disappointing everywhere he's gone. I love that people think that Lenny's this indestructible, he's a huge obstacle for a guy like Rashad White. Let me tell you right now, Rashad White is on his way
to the moon.
To the moon, young man. To the moon. So if you think that Leonard Fournette's standing in the way of Rashad White, get ready, because Rashad White has something to say about that. And yeah, maybe Leonard Fournette's going to start off the year as the top running back. Maybe Leonard Fournette will do some good things early on. Maybe Rashad White doesn't get a hold of that starting lineup until mid-season. Very possible. Leonard Fournette could come out and have 110 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns in week 1. Wouldn't shock me at all, and it doesn't detour me away from my upside and bold thinking on Rashad White in 2022. That's the way it is. Fournette is a good running back, not an amazing running back. He's a good running back in a really good situation that could produce more than good stats. It could be amazing stats, right? But he's a disappointing guy, disappointed in Jacksonville. They gave him chance after chance. Even after they gave him his final warning, he goes out and gets arrested for driving over 100 miles an hour when he's supposed to be on his best behavior. He was a locker room cancer in a lot of ways. And this guy ended up getting shoved out of Jacksonville, and he got another shot in Tampa. He had some faltering moments where you thought, okay, he's not going to come back from this. He did. Then he became playoff Lenny, and everybody kind of liked him again. But there's a reason they brought in Giovanni Bernard last season, because Tom Brady himself wanted a better pass-catching option. He was disappointed in the pass-catching skills in that running back room. So what happens? They bring in Giovanni Bernard. That didn't work out the way that they wanted. There's been rumblings that Tom Brady and the Bucs in general are not happy with the running backs in terms of the pass catching and pass protection. Rashad White comes over and as the best receiving back in the entire 2022 NFL draft class, what do you think? They're not going to use him on third downs. They're going to use him immediately on third down. So maybe playoff Lenny is able to keep it going for a little while. Maybe playoff Lenny is able to hold him off for half a season. But yeah, like Mr. B saying right here, people are acting like Lenny is some top 6 running back monster that is just going to not give up the starting job to a running back that's clearly more talented. Rashad White is so talented. He can pass catch with anybody. And if you haven't watched his film, then don't speak about it yet. Just go watch his film after this show. Type in Rashad White highlights on YouTube. Watch the kid and come back next show and tell me, never mind, Smitty. I watched his highlights and I can't believe this kid was overlooked. I can't believe he was overlooked. He's an absolute monster. He gets the football. He takes momentum 4, 5, 6, 7 yards more than the average running back would. He finds ways to maneuver and manipulate his motion and spatial awareness so that he takes less big hits. He finds a way to be slippery. One tackler is not bringing him down. This is a guy that needs to be corralled by 3 or 4 defenders in order to bring him down. He finds a way to get angles. He's ultra intelligent with his spatial awareness, finding different gaps, finding different lanes on the field. We got a phone call already. We got a phone call. Oh, they hung up. I feel like people are really missing the boat here. You want to know? Here's the Bruce. Let's see what the Bruce is saying. Fournette is a solid NFL running back. Andrew, I realize you probably own him. That's why you're saying it. And I'm not saying he's not a solid running back. But Rashad White is a great potential running back. He's not just solid. He could be great. He could be amazing. And I think it's so funny how many people love Leonard Fournette. I've gone up against all the Fournette hype all offseason long. And it's the one topic I feel like majority of my followers have a struggle with. And I get it, and stick to your guns, but this and the Javonte Williams has been the one where the 2 players where I feel like I get the most pushback, and that's fine. I like pushback. It challenges me, and I don't want you changing your mind if you feel like Fournette is a savior. If he's going to be that guy this year, don't listen to a word I'm saying then. You know, maybe this is the thing I'm wrong on. Like, I'm wrong every year too. I'm not right on everything I say. But I'm telling you, this is one of those deep gut in my bones feelings that this kid right here, Rachaad White, is going to be a moneymaker for a lot of people. He's going to be a riser, Alvin Kamara. And I think I have some authority on the Alvin Kamara topic, since as a rookie, I put him in my top 5 bold predictions to be a top 5 running back in the NFL and in fantasy when people thought he was a scat back, a change of pace back. There's no way he rises up. Crowded New Orleans Saints backfield when he was drafted. This kid's not big enough to be an every down back, Smitty. And I got a lot of pushback, and people forget that they doubted Alvin Kamara to the most extreme degree that people doubt a running back based on size and stature. Rachaad White I get the same feeling about Rachaad White. He's hungry. He's coming for Leonard Fournette's job. He said he's there to start. He hasn't come in all humble, and I like humble guys too, but there's a certain way to be bold and hungry, and Rachaad White said, I'm not here to be a backup. I'm here to start, is what Rachaad White said. If you don't like that, if you don't see a hungry kid that's coming for Leonard Fournette's job, these Leonard Fournette is great, Leonard Fournette is amazing comments are head scratching to me to a certain degree, because it's Leonard Fournette. What has he done to prove to you he's capable of holding on to the longevity of this job? What has he done? What has Leonard Fournette done other than beat playoff Lenny for you from time to time? What has he done to prove that he's going to continue to hold off a guy that's hungry like Rachaad White, a guy that can pull in footballs way better than Leonard Fournette? This is the best receiving back in the 2022 NFL draft class, and he has the potential to be the best receiving back in the entire NFL. At me if you want. Rashad White, let me repeat it so you can screen grab it. Rashad White has the potential to be the best receiving back in the entire 2022 NFL draft class and in the entire NFL. He has that ability. And I think that people that assume Leonard Fournette, who is disappointed here, disappointed there, can't come in. Leonard Fournette Rashad White can't come in and knock him off. That's funny to me. That's funny to me. Draft him in all your leagues. Let's go. More news here. Rolling on the floor laughing at best receiving back in the NFL. Get real, homie. Get your popcorn ready, Jamie. Get your popcorn ready. If you think everything's so clear as day before it happens, you might want to buckle up and get your popcorn ready, because these things aren't always things you can see from a mile away, bro. Bears are transitioning into a run-heavy team with the outside zone. I like Monty a lot right now. I don't like him anywhere in the third round or anything, but like if you're in the fourth or fifth round and Monty falls, I don't understand, Ricky. I think it's all just Leonard Fournette owners that typically have a big pushback on it. Lenny barely held off Ronald Jones. Lenny's disappointed his entire career. He's had good moments. He's had good stints. He's been revived in Tampa, but Tampa revived him. He didn't revive the Tampa Bay rushing attack. He was revived. So get ready. But come on, at best receiving back. At best, what are you saying? But come on, at best receiving back in NFL. Jamie, I think what you're trying to say is, but come on, to become the best receiving back in the NFL. Jamie, where were you when I said that Kamara would become what Kamara was? I understand your hesitation to believe me, Jamie. You probably just found me. That's great. But, like, do you think I didn't hear this on the Alvin Kamara stuff? Do you think I didn't hear this on other things? Like, I'm not saying I nail everything, Jamie, but this isn't going to detour me away or make me stop and ponder my boldness and be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say something before it happens. Maybe I need to let it be obvious and happen. Then I'll come out and say it. You know what I'm saying, Jamie? Come on. Dude, I've been with you. Okay, well, I appreciate you, Jamie. I'm not mad at you. I just think if you've been with me for forever, then how are you shocked that I have a bold take? That's my question, Jamie. How are you shocked by this? How are you shocked by it, Jamie? You want a lap? You want to take a lap, Jamie? I still like you, pal. You're my boy, Blue. What are your thoughts on my boy Barkley? Oh boy, Tabern just came in late on the Barkley bashing. Stay away from Barkley, Tabern. Rewatch the show. Rewatch it, bro. Rashad White will be like Swift only, Smitty. Thank you, Doug. Of course, Swift has a lot of upside. I think everybody just agreed with you for the first time, Doug. And I don't think you planned on that. I think you thought that was a dig of some kind. I think. David Montgomery, good fourth or fifth round pick. Barkley, we already touched on Barkley. This news right here, Barkley could catch a ton of passes. We talked about that earlier. I'm staying clear of Barkley. He has all the proving to do. This guy's not shown he's rebounded to form. What did I tell everybody last year? What did I say? Don't draft Barkley for anything. Don't draft Barkley even in the second round. And what happened? A lot of pushback. A lot of he's Barkley. He's going to be fine. He's going to have tons of time. The writing was all over the wall. We saw zero evidence that he was ready for football. They barely ran him with pads before week one. People just assumed this guy that tore his ACL in the very beginning of the season, he had all of the offseason and the in-season to recover. He had more than ample time to come back from an ACL tear, especially given his quad strength, which is a key component in ACL quick recovery. And this kid, Barkley, who's one of the most athletic and elusive players athletically, couldn't return to form that quick. There was some sort of setback or something there had to have been. And then he suffered other injuries. And coming back from your ACL tear, look at Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook had a bad year the year after he came back from his ACL tear. It sometimes takes you some time to come back to form. I'm not on board with the Barkley train at all. He's got the proven to do to me. I wouldn't take Barkley in round 3. I wouldn't take him in round 2, certainly. But I probably will find 9 times or 10 times out of 10 a player I just flat out like better than Barkley in round 3. I'm not finding Barkley an attractive 3rd round pick whatsoever. Getting back to me the other day. Thank you for getting back to me the other day. You bet, pal. And I added you, I believe, to the voicemail group. So did you ask? I have asked you like 4 times to leave this in the voicemail section, though. So leave these in the voicemail section, and I get to them. But I got you here too, and I do want to attack this for you. I'm looking to grabbing Rashad White at 1.8 now versus waiting to 2.1 and 2.5. I would grab Rashad White at 1.8 as we're talking about him. Very relevant question for this topic here. Appreciate you, Terry. No Jacobs. Yeah, I'm staying clear from Jacobs. Also, Lenny went rounds 5 to 7 in most drafts. That's league-winning value. Yeah, I mean, Lenny was good value last year. Absolutely. Zamir White might take a lot of touches from Josh Jacobs. If he's healthy, Zamir White is somebody that could be somebody to monitor. I definitely agree. Let's go to the voice messages.
It's voicemail time. Drop a voicemail at the Fantasy Football Show on the gram. Tell your grandma.
He'll punch you in the throat.
Let's lead off with the Bruce.
Hey, Smitty, is there a wide receiver room that is so crowded that you're like, I just got to avoid this room? Too many receivers, like the Steelers I'll use as an example.
Yeah, Steelers are a great example. I would say like that's probably the best one. Deontay, Claypool, Pickens, Freiermuth, Najee Harris. You can't just include the wide receivers. You got to include all pass catchers because Trubisky's totally unproven to us. We're rooting for him. Yeah, I don't know a human being that wouldn't root for Trubisky. You know, down and out player. Get given a second chance. Why not? Why not root for Mitchell Trubisky? I'm rooting for him, but I'm not counting on him. So give me, a safer, Deontay. Give me McLaurin, who's in a horrible spot himself. But give me players like that over players like Deontay and Claypool. And that's probably the greatest example of a crowded wide receiver room. I don't know that there are any comparable ones to that. I'm trying to think, and I'm looking at some wide receiver. I mean, the Cardinals, I guess, aside from Hollywood, because Kyler's probably not delivering 2,000-yard receivers, you could say that A.J. Green, Hopkins, Hollywood Brown, Rondell Moore could eventually become too crowded once Hopkins returns. So maybe Hollywood's a great draft start for 6 weeks and then trade him on the high for people that don't factor in that he's going to drop off. Something like that comes to mind. I would say, yeah, those are the two most obvious ones to me. Let's go to Tony. That was short, Tony. Another one from Tony.
What's up, brother? You probably answered this question in the past about 1 million times, but Miles Sanders, what do we do with him? Is he a good 3rd running back on your team, or is he somebody we fade away? Is Gainwell a threat? I mean, I don't think they really brought in too much over there. The offense got better. What do you think about Miles Sanders this year?
I like him as a 3rd running back, sure. Like, I've always been very down on Miles Sanders because, Doug Peterson was the coach when everybody was like, Miles is going to break out. There's no running back competition. Boston Scott won't do anything. Smitty, you out of your mind. And I said, watch, Doug Peterson is a running back by committee coach. And that's what worries me a little bit about ETN, right? But ETN's got no competition. Not that Miles Sanders did either. So we got to keep that in mind. But ETN's such a good pass catcher. I know Miles was a good pass catcher. A lot of similarities. Almost talking myself out of ETN there for a second. No, I love ETN. But I believe that the writing was clearly on the wall. No one wanted to see it. But Miles Sanders now no longer commands second and third round value. He was commanding second and third round value, which was absolutely asinine that year, walking into a running back by committee situation led by Doug Peterson, who's always running back by committee guy. Always a running back by committee guy. It was clear as day that Miles Sanders was going to falter. But now he's forgotten. He's like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Miles Sanders, you could technically go 0 RB and scoop up like CEH, Miles Sanders, a bunch of guys to rotate, and they've got upside. They've got upside. I mean, there's a lot of upside for both these guys. Why? Because of cost of entry. I'm not saying Clyde's a lock to do anything at this point, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire is the only running back that knows that offense, and it's a tough playbook. Like, Ronald Jones isn't going to pick things up quick enough. It's not going to happen. Clyde would have to get hurt for Ronald Jones to get the starting job. It is a very complex playbook. Miles Sanders, running back 3 flex, I like it. I like it a lot. There's nothing wrong with it. And I'm not a huge Miles Sanders fan, but I like the situation. The rushing attack will be a little bit more opened up because now you've got A.J. Brown stretching the field. Hurts is going to have a baller year. Let's go. Algier, love Algier.
If you were replacing Bijan Robinson in the dynasty pool of running backs, where would you put him as of today?
Robinson, the rookie running back from the 2023 class, is going to be something special. And if I had to put him in this let me put it this way, because it's hard to answer that question, but I think I can answer it pretty effectively by just this one example. If you took Robinson, the 2023 projected 1.1 overall fantasy football player, it's running back special, you throw him in this draft class, he would be the 1.1. He would be ahead of Kenneth Walker, ahead of Breece Hall. He would be the clear 1.1. Now, he's still got to play this upcoming college season. He could get hurt. He could have a bad year. We've seen running backs before look like the complete lead dog, and they have a bad, mediocre year, and they plummet in rankings everywhere, including fantasy rankings and such. So we can't lock in Robinson as the number 1 like before the season happens, but we can pretty much put a placeholder there and say that he's the number 1. He's the number 1 running back. He's a 1.1, a rookie only drafts. The placeholder's there. You just got to account for injuries and such. But if you put him and plucked him and could put him in the NFL right now, he'd be the 1.1. The 1.1 over Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker. That's how good he would be, and that's a great question. Tariq.
Hey, Smitty, it's Tariq. How's it going? Happy Thursday. I know you're down on a void for Saquon in 2022, but there's reports that he's going to get a ton of passes in Brian Dable's offense. Do you think this is all coach talk, or do you think he's going to break out of his shell into 2022 from his nagging injuries?
Definitely covered that already, so rewatch the show on all the Barkley stuff.
Hey, Smitty, it's Tariq again. What are your thoughts on Najee Harris? I mean, you have him as your top 5 RB in 2022. Do you think he's going to break out in the sophomore year? Or do you think he's going to be at a slump? Or do you think he's going to stay stagnant from his 2021 rookie season? Thanks, pal.
I love Najee, Tariq. I love him. I mean, look, Najee Harris would have rushed for 4.5 to 4.9 yards per carry in a better offense. He was handed a crappy offensive line, a quarterback that had a noodle arm that was deteriorating every single game he went out there and threw the football. This offense couldn't move the football down the field. Look, they've got defense. They've got a coach. They've improved the offensive line. They've got weaponry all around from Freiermuth to the wide receivers. Trubisky could be the real deal. If he's not, they've got a competent rookie that a lot of people think could, in Pickett, that could be really, really good. So I think he's protected a lot more than he feels. I think it's very easy to say that, I don't know. It's very easy to say that Najee's going to struggle because of the quarterback situation. But I don't know that I would say that it's that bad because there's a lot of concern with Trubisky. And if he was the only quarterback, I think I'd have a lot of worries similar to the worries that I had when it came to Big Ben. But the fact that you have Pickett there as well, who all in his own right could give them enough upside and potential to be literally the guy, the future, and a good passer, you get two nice options. You get two, not nice options, you have two legitimate attempts at having a passer in there that can keep defenses honest enough to where this kid, Najee Harris, can come out instead of averaging 3.9 to 4.1 yards per carry, which is not his fault. It's a bad yard per carry number. It's not his fault. He needs more volume than he should be getting to get his 100 yards, to get his 12 to 15 touchdowns, to get his 45 to 65 receptions, his 300 to 450 receiving yards. He will have to work harder and put more abuse on his body to get those numbers that he's probably going to get because he's not efficient. Not his fault. The offense isn't efficient, but the offense looks to be more efficient this year than last year. And I think everything's going to come together a little bit better every single game. And Najee will average 4.4 yards per carry instead of 3.9 or 4.0. That gives him less attempts to get a first down. So therefore he's more efficient, less work, less abuse, same stats. It's all about efficiency. Like look at A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown would have top 5 to 10 wide receiver numbers on efficiency that would usually leave a wide receiver without having top 10, top 15 wide receiver numbers. A.J. Brown just did a lot with a little. I think Najee Harris is doing a lot with a lot. Imagine if he gets more efficient, then he can be even more healthy, more spry, more powerful down the stretch, and hit holes faster and just make bigger plays and score touchdowns, get the team in scoring position more, score more touchdowns quickly, and boom, 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 boom. Najee's value in turn increases because he's getting less work but more efficient. I love him. Number 3 overall, easy. Number 2 overall, easy.
Hey, Smitty, it's Trick again. When we're drafting in 2022, per se, in redraft, should we factor in the strength of schedule in selecting our players? Or this is just we go off of BPA, best player available? Thanks, pal.
Yeah, you always got to factor in strength of schedule. Like, for example, Clyde's got one of the best running back schedules, and my running back schedule is based on all the stuff, the rushing allowed stats and the receiving allowed stats, because running backs are PPR guys now across the board. Like you have maybe 2 or 3 big name running backs that don't get some of the same volume that some of the other running backs get in the PPR game. But for the most part, if you're evaluating running back strength of schedule on the rushing stats, defensive stats alone, you're missing a huge angle of strength of schedule for running backs. So at sleeperu.com, I have my running back strength of schedule that is different than the average person's strength of schedule. Mine encompasses the PPR work. And that schedule tells me that a couple guys that are doubted, and one of them doubted by me, have good schedules. Cam Akers has the best running back schedule out of any player in the NFL according to my data. But does that mean that Cam Akers is a player I believe in? No, it doesn't change that. It makes me feel very hopeful of Kyron Williams, or if you want to say Hendy or whoever, that whoever gets in there will be efficient once they get in, even though they're learning on the fly. So like that makes me like Kyron more. It makes me, if I end up having to draft Akers, if he fell too far, I could trade him, or I could wait a game or two. Maybe he does look productive and trade him, but I'd rather just avoid, I'd rather just avoid it in general. The Akers situation. Clyde's got one of the better schedules in the NFL for running backs, so it makes him attractive. And so like this comment right here, this is not even, you're not even like talking apples to apples, bro. Like Cam's ADP is so much higher than Clyde's. This is like not even a relevant like comparison. Clyde is like a 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th round pick to some people. Akers is getting drafted in round 3, so that's not a surprising statement. But Cam will bust in my opinion, so I'm not drafting him. Clyde you get for nothing. You get for peanuts down at the end of the draft. Hendo over Akers, especially with no Sony, says Jamie. I'm going to go with nobody but Kyron and let everybody else overdraft. But you definitely have to look at strength of schedule. It definitely helps out. The Bruce.
Hey, Smitty. My second question is, what do we think of the sophomore coaches and their offenses? Like Dan Campbell, hey, he's a sophomore coach. He didn't have a bad year, but didn't have a great year. I just want to know what you think of the sophomore coaches and their offenses.
I mean, everything's case by case. I don't know that you could say. I mean, look. I love some of these younger coaches and what they're doing. I think Detroit's doing great things. I think the Jets are doing great things. I don't think the Jets or the Lions will do what the Bengals did right away. I think it flips really quickly, but it will be one more year. Houston's doing great things. Houston brought in a whole new situation. This is not Doug O'Brien anymore. The situation has completely changed. Houston, the Lions, and the Jets are three teams that are turning things around. It just might take one more year. One more year. You got to let the Clyde train go. He's been your guy, but ain't it. There's no sense in talking to you about this because you're not seeing the point. Clyde at 8, 9, 10 round value is totally worth the gamble, bro. He's the veteran there. He knows the playbook. You either understand the concept of that being value, bro, or you just don't like him. That's fine. But there's value there because there's zero risk. So there's nothing to let go. Kyron, shout out another rookie running back says prime. I love Kyron, bro. Love him. Absolutely love him. Rojo, second pick that we lost. Rojo was second pick that lost his job. How he beating CEH. Yeah. I mean, CEH has to stay healthy, but he's the veteran. What a lot of people don't understand that talk about Rojo, they just throw Rojo's name out there like Rojo's starting. Rojo's going to get the job. This KC playbook is difficult. You don't step in and just start. You don't. Mahomes couldn't read a defense till his third year, and trying to navigate the system on top of that was very difficult. He was amazing, though. He still did amazing. Damian Williams couldn't read that playbook or even know the plays. They had to tell him what to do every single play for the whole first year and a half. It's really, really tough. Rojo will snipe goal line and be better in KC. Okay. We'll see, bro. Where are we at?
Hey, Smitty, any offensive coordinators that might have changed teams into 2022 that we could consider when drafting players from this specific team? Thanks, pal.
I mean, again, back to the sophomore question, everything's kind of like case by case. So, I don't know that you can draw any conclusions on, that in general. But, do I like what a lot of these young coaches are doing? Yeah, I think that the NFL is full of a lot of talented coaches that are on the rise. We just got to see them do their thing. There are a lot of teams that are in the works of being turned around. We just got to be a little patient with them. They're just not going to all be Cincinnati Bengals.
Smitty, hey, Stormcat here. I'm going to give you 6 guys that I am absolutely not drafting anytime, anywhere. Tell me what you think. Dalvin Cook, Saquon, Derrick Henry, CMC, Michael Thomas, Tyreek Hill, who I think is going to be a bust, and I think he is past his prime. Thanks for your insights.
I don't have a problem with any of those. I mean, I think Tyreek Hill, I worry about injury with him. So, I'm kind of avoiding him everywhere in a mostly a gut instinct way. But, yeah, I think all those names have potential to bust. Mahomes had 50 TDs in the first year he started, which was his second year. It's crazy, but Aaron, what? I don't know if you're saying that toward my comment. He couldn't read a defense his second year, which is absolutely crazy. Which was his first year. He didn't know how to read defenses during this season, which is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal story. I don't know if you're accenting my comment or trying to push back on it, but he didn't. He admitted it. He said I couldn't read a defense during that breakout season, which is phenomenal. Which is just phenomenal of how good he is. Vamp says that Stormcat just named my all-time disapprove list. He did. Kind of read it off, Stormcat. Jim.
Hey, Smitty. Dynasty rookie running back question for you. I took Hassan Haskins, so the Titans rookie.
Hold on a second. Hold on, Aaron. You are the new Noah. Like, why are you coming in arguing this? 50 TD says he did, Smitty. Mahomes himself said I couldn't. Like, what are you arguing here? Mahomes himself. I'm not ripping on Mahomes. I'm giving Mahomes a compliment. Mahomes himself said that he could not read defenses his first season. So you don't know more than Mahomes. Mahomes told you himself. Just so you know.
Back late in our voicemail dynasty draft. I don't have a lot of expectations for him this year, but I totally agree with you that Henry is probably on the back half of his career, and that if he's going to continue to get 27, 28 touches a game, he can't sustain that. So do you think Haskins is going to see the field at all this year, and do you think he's worth holding on to in dynasty formats?
I would hold on to him. I think he's definitely gonna be relevant for a little while. Maybe we don't know if he'll be the guy, but I think Henry's gonna struggle at some point, whether he gets hurt or not. I don't know. Let's see here. He had less his third year, maybe because he learned how to read a defense. It hurt him, Aaron. I don't know, pal. What's up, Meet the Woo? Appreciate you being here. I don't know that Haskins is the guy. Is my I guess my answer. But I think everybody backing up there.
It's your boy, Kevin.
Kevin.
Got a question for you. If Alvin Kamara goes down, where do we boost Mark Ingram to? Is that a low tier running back too? Or are you even taking Mark Ingram to fill that New Orleans Saints spot?
Ingram's
basically just holding him for trade reasons.
Ingram's old, bro. Like, who says it's Ingram? If Kamara goes down or gets suspended, who says it's Ingram? You know, like I would venture to say that maybe it's Tony Jones. Maybe it's somebody else. Like I don't know that Ingram can't hold up. He's too old. There's no way. Let's see here. Next up is. I think I gotta reload my voicemail group. It's not loading here. Hold on. Terry.
Hey, Smitty. Thanks for getting back to me at the question I had at the 103-108. This is Terry from Canada. Another question I have, the 201 and 205 that I have. It's a tight end premium dynasty. My tight ends are Cole Kmet and CJ Uzomara. Not that many tight ends on my team. What are your thoughts about Trey McBride at 201 or 205? Thanks.
I mean, I don't hate it. I'm not against it. As long as, like, Rashad White's not there. Like, I'm not taking a position. I'm taking the best player, a guy that can get you the most. Like, think about it. If Rashad White's there and you're taking Trey McBride, when Rashad White could really be such a good player, you could go trade literally Rashad White for a top 5 tight end. You know, why not do that? Or top 3 tight end or whatever. Why not do that? What if he becomes so good that you could literally get everybody but Kyle Pitts, anybody but Kyle Pitts in a trade? Like, why would you not take that gamble? So always draft the talent.
Hey, Smitty, Terry from Canada here. One more thing I had to ask. Startup Dynasty League. I have the 107 pick. I want to start off with a running back and a young one. Swift, Hall, Javante, or one of those 3 guys. What do you recommend? 107 or 12-man league, Startup Dynasty League? Thanks, Smitty.
I'd either go Hall or Javante. I'd probably go Javante if it's me. Especially if it's Dynasty. If it's redraft, you want to take him later. So if this is Dynasty, that's a good selection. If it's redraft, wait and take him in the second round. In redraft, make Javante your second drafted player. That is an advantage that Melvin Gordon is gifting you. In Dynasty, you're not going to get a whole bunch of wiggle room like that. Corey.
Hey, Smitty. So I just got offered a trade. Guy is offering me Devontae Smith and the second overall pick, a.k.a. Kenneth Walker, 4, CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Ayuk. I'm very set at running back, and I'm a little worried to lose receiver depth, but I feel like that's almost too good an option. Devontae Smith, and the second overall pick, a.k.a. Kenneth Walker, 4, CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Ayuk. I'm very set at running back, and I'm a little worried to lose receiver depth, but I feel like that's almost too good an offer to pass up, even though Lamb is a stud. Let me know what you think, brother.
Walker. I don't know, bro.
Hey, Smitty. And the street guy is offering me Devontae Smith and the second.
So CeeDee Lamb and Ayuk for Devontae Smith and Kenneth Walker. What do you guys think of that in the chat? I mean, I like Kenneth Walker a lot. CeeDee Lamb, I kind of like, more. You're getting Ayuk as well. I like Devontae Smith a lot more than most people, but he's still not, Ziggy off. Yeah, I lean Lamb. I try and get Walker lower. Look, bottom line is Lamb's got like a top of the second ADP. Kenneth Walker's got a 4th, 5th, 6th round ADP. In Dynasty, maybe 3rd or 4th round. Buy him lower. There's no reason to buy Walker at a value that we all feel, he's at when he's not there. He's not there. You can get him so much cheaper. So take advantage of that. Don't buy into the, okay, well, Smitty loves Walker this much. You know what I mean? Like, Smitty loves Walker this much. He will be that good, but you don't have to pay it, so don't pay it. I'm going to say no. Go after him still, though. Go after him still. Okay, that is it for the voicemails. We're also done with the show. The show is at its close. Lamb's going to finally explode, says Stormcat. I agree 100%. CeeDee Lamb, unless you're in a total rebuild. Yeah, and even then, it's just like keep Lamb and go after Walker cheaper because you can get him cheaper. 100 people in here, 50 likes. Hit that thumbs up. We do have 102 people in here, and only half of you have Dalvin cooked that like button. And I don't really know why, because your boy Smitty's here Monday through Friday. Wipe your feet. Help me. Help the channel. Hit the thumbs up. Leave a comment in the chat. And I respond to every single comment that you guys drop. I will be here tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm here Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. The hour show on the daily here on the Fantasy Football Show on YouTube. You can always find me at youtube.com/the Fantasy Football Show or go to smitty1.com. We got a couple spots left in the Cooper Cup League. If you want in, get them now. DM me on Instagram if you missed out and couldn't drop a super chat. Michael dropping a last-second super chat. Look at this bad boy. Lamb or Higgins? Lamb. A lot of people like Higgins. A lot of people like Higgins this much, Michael. You're not out of nowhere asking this question. But Higgins, to me, feels early in round 3. I know a lot of you love Higgins and you say, Smitty, he's going to earn round 3. But Lamb's a late second rounder in redraft and mid in Dynasty, and Higgins is like barely 3rd for me. So Hit that like button, people. Dalvin Cook the like button. What you doing sitting there not Dalvin cooking the like button? Everybody likes lamb, Michael. Everybody likes lamb. Peace out, Mr. B. Macho Taco. James. Appreciate you all. Stormcat, Vamp, Alley-oop. Later, people. See you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern.